everyone, today I am fixing a PlayStation 5, and the problem with it is that it's flashing blue and there's no picture on the display, and then it kind of goes white and shuts itself off, or goes into like a white, calm mode. You can't go into any menus or reset the system to factory, like nothing will pop up on the display. So sometimes what'll happen is on the HDMI port, so this is the HDMI port right here, right here, there's a little capacitor, and sometimes this will come off, and that'll prevent you from having an image. But what I do sometimes is I'll take a little pin, and I'll just poke these to see the connection, and see how it's loose? And this PS5 has never been opened before. So you check all the pins. Oh, there's another loose one. So this is why there's no picture. It's literally come off. And it could be from heat. I can tell from the stand that this one was stood up vertically. I do prefer leaving my PlayStation 5 horizontal, because I have a feeling when it heats up, sometimes this capacitor comes off. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna resolder all these pins, and then make sure again with my pin here. Holy, there's so many that are loose. I'm gonna make sure with my pin here that everything is secure and solid on the board. And I'm gonna plug it back in and see if it works. But that's a strong indicator there on the HDMI port of why it's not working, because there's nothing wrong with the port itself. It's totally fine, but there's no picture. And so that's something that can happen with the PS5. And it's just interesting because that's the factory soldering that's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. After some crazy precision soldering, I do not recommend doing this if you don't know what you're doing. test them all to make sure that they're not moving. Okay, capacitor's still on there, perfect. And it's soldered on there a little bit better now. Time to put it back together and see what works after I clean it up a little bit. All right, like I mentioned before, when I'd push power on here, it was turning blue and it would flash blue, pulse it, and then it'd go to white. You'd hear a beep, no response, no image. You couldn't hold the power button and get it into system reset mode. Nothing was coming up on the picture. But like we saw, the HDMI port wasn't attached to the motherboard. It was disconnected from it. So I've resoldered it and tested all the pins to make sure that they're attached. And so let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. And we have picture. It's a beautiful thing. Well, I don't recommend taking apart your PS5 and resoldering the board if you're not experienced. If you are experienced or you want to get into that, you can. Just be very careful when you're doing that. So I'm not telling you to go ahead and take this apart. I'm just saying if you have no picture and you can't get into the system reset, good chance that either that capacitor that I mentioned is missing or that maybe the HDMI port is just not attached to the motherboard anymore. So thanks everybody for watching. Take care until the next one.